Hi Sneha, I was just gonna call you.
Hi, hi. Yeah, I was just trying to connect, and I just wanted to make sure that I'm settled perfectly.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. And also, can you show some government ID proof so that
Yes,
we can verify it?
yes.
Hi Sneha,
Hello, ma'am. Good morning.
good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for asking. It's been quite some time that I've come over on Zoom to give an interview, so it just feels a little novel for some reason. So yeah, I was just speaking to one of the representatives, and she was like, "You seem stressed out." I'm like, "I'm not stressed. In fact, I'm looking forward to the conversation. It's just that the setup feels like it's COVID again. You know what I'm saying? Because it's been a while, I think, since I've done Zoom. In fact, I was quite surprised to know that okay, my Zoom application still exists. Okay, it's there." So yeah.
Correct. Sneha, my name is Malati Rao. I teach film at Flame. We also have Professor Preeta Menon. She teaches advertising and PR. Let's start by first having you introduce yourself to us, and then we'll take the conversation from there.
Sounds good, sounds good. So, hello, good morning once again, Miss Malati and Miss Preetha. It's lovely to meet you all. So, I'm Sneha Arora, and I'm someone who wishes to live, learn, and inspire. I was born in Patna, Bihar, and was raised in Mumbai. I did my schooling at a convent school and then moved to an IB World school where I honed my communication skills, presentation skills, and the programs there really developed empathy in me because we do have certain programs wherein we are connected with the community and do give back to the environment. So that inculcated a sort of empathy in me, and then from there I graduated in at HR college, and I did my undergrad from there. I pursued my bachelor's of management studies over there with an honors, and I also did a research project which actually led me to starting my own startup, which is a registered company called Carnival, where I sell K-pop inspired merchandise, Korean drama inspired merchandise. We have a 4.9 Google rating with over 220 plus reviews, which gives me great pride. Other than that, also during my second year and third year where we were supposed to do our black book project, I actually studied the effectiveness of the marketing strategies that Nykaa deploys, and fortunately I also got my first corporate job there, which again kind of taught me about the power of consistency and just really made me believe in myself. And other than that, I have keen interests in K-pop, K-drama, as it's very evidently there. I enjoy dancing also, and I love the world of skincare and beauty. I keep looking about what's new in the field and how are people really kind of breaking through in this cluttered, very saturated market. So yeah, during my Nykaa days, I was appointed as a marketing and communications executive, and although that was my role, I was exposed to a lot of brand management related duties, and those were kind of my special projects that just came about while I was in the job. And I was exposed to brand awareness, brand communication, and how a brand manager really dictates the story of the brand, and that really intrigued me. And my short-term goal became to actually kind of pursue brand management, and I eventually want to create a brand around myself and then look at opportunities. So I just want to do an MBA to kind of understand the fundamentals of business, because whatever I've done from starting up until now is about just kind of shooting in the dark, trying, experimenting, and then coming up with okay, what are the possible solutions to these. But I've not really studied this in the most organized manner. So that's why I'm here. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. It just abruptly shut.
No worries. But we could hear you, so you can continue.
Lovely. So that's about it. That's why I'm here. I'm excited to learn, and I'm excited to grow in this industry.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sneha, for that introduction. I was, I leave the more sort of relevant to your field questions to Professor Preeta. I just wanted to ask you some questions related to general knowledge, if you're open to it. Are you into it? Are you into, current politics and, general knowledge? Do you keep track? Do you read the newspaper regularly and keep track of what's happening around in the world?
To be completely honest, it wasn't the case until very recently. So like I told you, since my passion was only into the realm of beauty, so I would focus a lot on marketing strategies there. But ever since, I gave my competitive exams, I was introduced to the world of, current affairs, and, I must keep track of it. So to be very honest, it's just very recently that I've developed a little bit of interest, especially considering, what's happening right now in the US. I think in the morning also, I just wanted to understand what is the meeting going to result into, what's happening between Trump and Mr. Modi, and what is going to be the outcome for India. So I think it's very recently that I've developed that kind of interest. So I can't say that I'm someone who loves it, but yeah, it's in the field of just, trying to absorb what's happening around me.
Are you familiar with what's happening in South Korea? Since you're interested in Korean pop.
So to be very fair, I was just looking at the recent Korean dramas that have kind of come into play, but not really, into geopolitics there. All I know is, I know that it's not related to South Korea, but since, we're talking Asia, I know that, China has...
It's definitely a big story when it comes to Asia, of China not recognizing Taiwan's independent status. I agree. What about national, do you keep up with things that are happening around the country?
So that's something. I'm sorry, I think I just digressed from there to the world politics, but I think that's something that I've been...
That's okay. It's all very helpful, Sneha, but I'm going to ask Professor Preetha to step in and ask you a few questions. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and I'm sorry if I was not able to answer your questions correctly or in the way you aspired.
No worries.
Thank you.
Sneha, you spoke about, I can see your excitement about K-drama and K-pop, etc. and K-beauty as well. So my question is more like from a standpoint of somebody who is unbiased on this whole thing. Do you see a dark side to this? And if yes, then what could it be? I mean, we all know the positives and the kind of wave Hallyu is creating, but do you see a dark side, and what could that be?
Yes, thank you so much for that question. I think I'm going to speak on two levels. One is what I read, and one is what I've personally experienced. So when it comes to K-pop, it's such a tight-knit community, considering, first of all, how do these guys kind of come into being, the kind of rigorous training that they go to. You come across a lot of news through media where it is clearly mentioned that they do not get the kind of treatment that they deserve. They've been asked to practice for ridiculous hours. They're asked to go on these fat diets to make sure that they look a certain way, their hips are a certain way. And I'm not talking about just male K-pop groups, and I'm talking about female as well. So my conversation, with you is going to be holistic there. So there are very unrealistic standards that have been set, and it is something that's been embraced in Korea, which I think is extreme, when you think about beauty, because it's so subjective. Like, how would you define that in the first place, right? It's like someone asking me, what is success to you, when everyone expecting you to say that, oh, money is the only measure of success, but is it really, So it's a kind of conversation that leans to that side, where it's extremely subjective, and it depends person to person, depends on the country's culture. I think it all kind of dwells down to what the nation believes in, what the government believes in, what the leadership believes in, if I may to say. So that shapes the country, and I think that's a really dark side to it, which, they don't really reveal a lot. In fact, like so many K-pop group members have already crossed the age of 30, and they don't have any plans of getting married or settling down, or like even if they love someone, they're not allowed to date, they're not allowed to do things out of free will. So are we really living in a democratic country like that? So there are a lot of questions that just come to my mind when I think from the macro lens of things for K-pop. In terms of personal experience, which is more on a micro level, I see that a lot of fans are very, very sensitive. So I actually faced a challenge, when I had one of my interns with me, and she was doing great work, but in the informal group, they spoke about some K-pop group, and they were very, lenient about it, and she took that comment extremely personally. And then without, any sort of communication to me or anyone in the group or her colleagues, peers, whatever you may want to term that, she goes on social media and starts ranting about it. And at that time, I'm talking about in 2020, when I was just testing waters with the company. For us, goodwill matters. This is what we've been taught, that you have to kind of safeguard your image, especially when you're starting out. So for me at the time, it was extremely critical to make sure that I kind of speak to her and also maintain the integrity of the company. So then we reached out to her, apologized also in case we hurt her sentiment, because we don't know what to do in this sense. She took it so personally, as if we are attacking her, but that was not the case. And then we told her the dynamics of how it works in a professional environment. If you grow, the team grows, and obviously everyone's intention is not to do this. This is an informal group, informal setting, and everyone's entitled to their opinion. So we tried to kind of just mellow her down, and after that things were okay. And then she even apologized, all of that. So the reason I'm highlighting this is just to tell you how sensitive people can be in this realm, and especially ones who are very connected to their journeys, because they show struggles, they show things that not the extreme struggles, but some struggles. Their story talks about how they've sacrificed this, that. So then people emotionally get connected to that, hence they have a loyal fan base. So even how Taylor Swift, she talks about breakups, relationships, so that's why people just connect to her as an audience. So similar over here, they talk about their struggles and people connect. And that is something that I kind of came across. And although at that time, like in retrospect, I don't think it is a big of a challenge, but I just feel at the time it was important to her, and the fact that we had to deal with something like this was also quite nuanced and new to us.
Got it. Thanks for that. So going forward, talking about your business, so if you join Flame, it's a full-time residential program, and we don't even encourage students to go back to Bombay in the weekends, because that's when most of the teamwork happens and the discussions, bonding, everything happens during the weekends. So ideally, you're encouraged to stay on campus 24/7, and then only for mostly important things, and during breaks, whenever you get it, you're allowed to leave. What's your plan for this company of yours, and how do you envision that it will continue while you are 2 years full-time, full attention at Flame?
In fact, I just wanted to tell you that I'm looking forward to this, because I have not received or I've not experienced a typical campus life. Imagine being in Bombay, you just go to this one building, you do your business, and then you come back. It's the typical route. And when I hear about hostel stories, this, that, I just feel like I've missed that. I've missed that typical college life, and I have this one last chance of doing a master's and experiencing that. So for me, I'm looking forward to it. So that's there. In terms of business, I've already started to delegate a lot of my work to my brother. So he's the one who's like taking charge of a lot of things. And other than that, in terms of marketing, it's me, right? So that is, we typically market on Instagram. That's where our audience is, the young Gen Z and borderline millennials. So I'm going to be doing that. So again, during my weekends, I'll try to figure out how to kind of continue this on my socials. But other than that, in terms of typical operations, making sure that the goods kind of roll out, that's going to be my brother's department. So yeah, that's how I intend to just coordinate with him and figure things out. But priority is definitely going to be Flame, because these 2 years won't come back.
So coming from a practitioner, I'll just ask you a couple of concept-based questions. Since you're on Instagram, do you know the concepts SEO, SEM?
Yeah, so I'm aware about it theoretically. So search engine optimization and just one second, I'm so sorry. Yeah, could you hear that ring though? Yeah, sorry about that. So search engine optimization and SEM is search engine marketing, right? So SEO is to ensure that the website that you're building, it has certain keywords so that it kind of reaches on top of Google's search. So you basically kind of optimize your website for that. And the other bit of thing is SEM is again on the lines of where you pay a certain fee to kind of get your your website come on top of the Google search list. So one is sponsored, the other one is you doing it organically through keywords.
Okay, and have you done any of this for your own business?
SEM I've not. I kind of tried to look around, but it seemed very expensive, so I didn't go in that territory. But SEO, yes. So we use Shopify. So on Shopify, first of all, I think Shopify itself is extremely credible. So they help in any ways making sure that you come up. Because the hosting is credible like that, and almost like 90% of e-commerce platforms are made over there. And other than that, they also have Google image alt option. So on all your images you can kind of write the keywords, and they also have, you know, the description of the website or the product rather, where you can just enter certain keywords to make sure that it's relevant, and whenever people are looking for those relevant words, you kind of come up. So it has those options. Nothing apart from that where they specifically mention ad tags and all, so they don't ask for that. They just ask you to write your description in your product description matter, or the title of the product and all of that, and then you just work from there, is what I've realized.
Okay. And keywords, how many, what's your, what do you find, leading to a successful sort of outcome? How many keywords do you use? Have you found that certain, is it the kind of keyword or the number of keywords that you use that make a difference?
I think the kind of keywords, from in my experience, I've used around about like almost, if I were to just think of it, like 10 keywords. And if you specific to a niche, so for example, K-drama merchandise, not a lot of people kind of promote, and they don't have those products. So when you type K-drama merchandise India, we're the first ones to come. We're on the first page. So that's what I've realized, you know, when you kind of go to a niche which is not very explored or exploited, you tend to get a certain advantage. And if you kind of just weave certain keywords that people look for, so I just do a very simple thing of going on Google, typing K-pop and seeing, you know, what people are searching for. And if it is location specific, I think that also helps, because India is extremely large, you know, we're talking about a massive, it's a country level thing. But if you go to, you know, like city level and all, so it really like helps and makes a difference, is what I've realized. And then I just kind of did my own research on YouTube, you know, Google, and I think everything's just been experiential learning, ma'am. You just see things, you try, again you kind of evaluate what works. And the beauty of this is that you're forced to think, which I really like, you know, at least your mind is simulated, you're not just sitting and kind of following a playbook. And you're just thinking, you're understanding why, what. I didn't have like the right mentors, and it's on me also that I didn't go around asking people for help. I was like, I'll try this, we'll figure. And it worked out for us, luckily. And I think now with an MBA I'll be better equipped with that knowledge. I really hope to kind of dwell more into that. And the best part is that I saw that there are minors specifically for digital marketing, which is much needed. So I was extremely, you know, kind of impressed. I'm like, okay, wow, we have like minors also, and we also have the opportunity to kind of get into certain topics and also understand like humanities, because I don't think I've ever studied humanities. You know, liberal education is something that I've not really actively you know, been a part of, have taken. In my understanding, it's about psychology, which I think is extremely important. I think for every branding or a marketer, understanding consumer psychology is key. So if that, you know, helps us, you know, at the college level, it's great.
Correct. No, you're right. All that you've said is offered through the course, and you know, you seem to have a lot of energy. So I'm hoping that you bring that energy into every class. And
no, 100%, ma'am. I'm just really passionate about this field, and I realized this during my college. You know, I never thought that I'd be someone who is completely into branding and marketing and is so enthusiastic about it. In fact, I was dreading this. I never wanted to be in business. I wanted to become a communication designer, you know, designing graphics and stuff like that for the companies. But just life happened to me. I came here, and I think it just happens for the best. So leaving rest to, you know, the higher ups, and we're going to do my bit to make sure that I learn and I'm able to give back to the best of my capabilities.
Correct, right. So all the best, Sneha. Hope you do very well with your current organization, and also, you know, at whatever you choose to do. I am done. I'm just going to pass it on to Malti as well and see if she has anything else to ask.
No, I'm good too. Thank you, Sneha.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was lovely interacting with you all, and thank you for making it so conversational and friendly. You know, that really helped. So thank you. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye-bye.